Hi, I'm Tim Madden, Director of Sales for the Engage Packaging Group, which is Eastey and AFM. And I'm here today to walk you through our Eastey and Engage packaging line, featuring our ERX15 automatic case erector. We're going to walk through some of the features and benefits and general setup of this and show you kind of how things work. Just to start, Eastey has been producing and offering quality case sealing equipment for years, with the example here of our SB2FC uniform automatic case sealer. We've graduated a little bit to our conveyor systems that you see here in front of us. The conveyor systems that we offer come in different sizes and widths and lengths, and these pair very well with our case taping equipment as well as our shrink systems, but also compare up very nicely with our Squid Ink sister company for inkjet printing equipment that you would see here. A lot of our customers over the last year and a half, I would say, have really wanted to automate their operation. A lot of that is based on just increased efficiencies, lack of workforce, but also right now, especially with COVID, they're trying to make sure that they're keeping their employees very safe. And with the automatic case erector, we can produce boxes, tape the bottoms of them, get them into an area where a single operator can work, and then tape them and send them off into the area to be palletized. As you can see, the ERX15 has got a nice small footprint. So that makes it easy to fit into some tight spaces in your plant or facility. This will produce 15 boxes a minute. We'll just run a quick little demo on it here, kind of show you kind of how that'll operate. One of the great things about this unit is the fact that it's very easy to set up and very easy to operate. Let's walk through some of those features now. The setup of this machine is done in 5 easy steps, all based off of very conveniently located hand cranks with a simple numbering system. And the importance of the numbering system is critical when you want to make sure that you keep track of the number of different boxes you've got. We have a simple recipe function in here that'll keep track of all those sizes and everything that's numbered in there. You can see them right here. We could label them all right there. Let's go back to home. So the setup of the machine really starts with our feeder mechanism. We're going to take a box like you see here, and we're going to lay it down and we're going to set it up here. We're going to line up this score line with the dotted line on this yellow bar here. What's important about that is, and you'll see it when we get a chance to run it inside of the machine, is there's a pin in there that'll help kind of pull that box open. It provides a little pressure there to help pull that box open, especially if you have a tight glue line or maybe a little excess glue. So we would size that this box and each one of these side rails is run independently, and that's going to be based off of the size of the case. So once we've got this set up, we're going to adjust our hand cranks to get it to the right orientation there, and then we can set up the boxes accordingly. The great thing about this is 2 things. One, these paddles are very light and easy to move, but also this is a groove system, so if I take this paddle off, I can leave it there without it kind of swinging back. I can set that up. Each of these belt drives is run independently, and the reason why we want to do that is because we want to make sure we get an even amount of pressure on the front of that machine, so when we drop the box into position, we may have a glue joint here that's located maybe closer to this side, and what that might do is that box may want to skew, and so we may have to run a little more pressure off of the right side than the left. So once we got those set, we're going to go to our 3rd step, which is the height adjustment. Now again, once we get to on the back side of the machine when we run this thing, there's a bar in there that pulls the box down into position that gets onto our feeding plate. All we're doing here is we're adjusting with that location of that bar but we're also adjusting the location of the guarding here to make sure that we don't reach in and hurt ourselves. So again, we'll set that. We've got that numbered. The next step is number 4, which is that bottom plate. Now that plate, that's a feeding plate that you'll see when we run the machine, is really set up to the score line here. Now that plate will correspond with the level of the belt drive assembly. So when we open this up and we're ready to push, that will make sure that our box is in the right position so we can push and everything's level. The last adjustment that we've got is number 5, which is our width. That's going to be based off of the width of the box. Fairly simple. We've got all those set. We've got our operator set it up in here, logged everything in the recipe function. The last thing we want to kind of do is run in a jog mode. And this will run each step of the erecting process individually. That way we know that we have everything in the right position. We'll get the machine back to home and then we'll run it in jog. We've engaged the air. Now there's 8 different suction cups across the bat of that. Those are adjustable depending on the width and height of the box to make sure that we've got the suction in the right place. There's also suction on the back end of the box that you're not going to be able to see from this angle, and that'll help pull the box open as well. So now we'll pull the box into position, and now we've got that box pulled square. Then we'll get it and fold it into fold the minor flaps up. And then we're going to bring up our major flap folder assembly, get those into position. Now you see that that flap fits into a slot there, and once we fold that up, the air will disengage and the box will be ready to push into the machine. As we're going through that operation, the next box will be pulled down and ready to be set again for the next one to go. So the last step is we'll push that into the belt drive assembly, and we'll just make sure the tape, look at that, beautiful tape job right there, even in the center of the box. Well done there, so we know we're ready to go. We'll run that jog mode one more time just to make sure everything's good here. There's a couple of different ways that we can go about doing that. One, we can just run it on auto and we can run this down basically till we run the minimum of the boxes in there. We can keep loading boxes on the fly. This feeder will fit about 200 boxes in it, depending on the thickness of that case. So we can either run in that, we'll keep running repeatedly, or we can run a box on demand feature. So let's say we need 50 boxes and that's all we want to run at that time. We can just program in 50 right there. The other way that this can work as a box on demand, there's a photo eye and a reflector. Now basically the purpose that that's on there is that if there's a box in the way, you're not going to have the machine sending boxes to it, and we're going to have, you know, kind of a mess. And we have, instead of a box erector, we have a box compactor. You can move this out. We could move that down the line if we wanted to, and that way the machine's going to run until that photo eye is covered, and then it really is kind of a box on demand feature, because that's kind of your accumulation of boxes. Your operator's pushing them, and as soon as that clears, it's going to kick out another box. If it clears for a while, it's going to keep going until that photo eye is covered. Right now, again, we're just going to run 15 boxes in a row to show you kind of a minute's worth of run. I'm just going to hit go, and my assistant is going to fill those boxes, and we're going to kind of show how an operation would be. Granted, this is a pretty tight scenario here. Most of the time you're going to have more than maybe 6 feet of conveyor, but let's let her rip. So as you can see, we've got the power conveyor here set up just right for the speed so we can get the product in there efficiently. We're not running too fast. And then we're running onto the EC belted conveyor, very smooth. Again, if you want to add an inch-up printing system to it, you can do that. The conveyor systems are available in 12-inch, 18, and 24-inch width, 4 feet lengths, and 6 feet lengths. And then we're going to go into our automatic case stapler, which is our SB2FC. As you can kind of see how this works is that we've got, at the front end of that, we've got an indexing gate. That'll keep two boxes kind of from running through it at the same time. Right now we've got everything spaced appropriately, and this belt is running a little slower than the belt of the case sealer. And so as the box comes in, the rear kicker is going to come down and hit that rear minor flap, and then the box is going to hit the leading plow, and then the folding bars are going to activate, and we're going to fold all the flaps and tape the top of the box. We don't need to tape the bottom of the box. We certainly have the ability to do that with this machine. It does have a cavity. You can tape top and bottom with this, but obviously in this scenario we don't need to do that because we erected the case upstream. And so this is capable of handling a 2-inch head that we see here, or a 3-inch head, and those tape heads are interchangeable throughout. One thing to point out on this is, again, the setup of this machine is very easy, but this is a very rugged unit, as you can kind of see. The important part about an automatic machine is that with that kicker moving, is that you don't want to have any fluctuation in that head, because that can cause a problem. So we've beefed things up a little bit, and for me, I think bang for the buck. I'm not sure that there's a better automatic system out there for the quality it is. At just over $10,000 for this system, I think that it's a great win. EC, again, as I mentioned before, has other case sealing line systems available, from the basic semi-automatic side belt machine, bottom belt machine, top and bottom machine, randoms. We got case warmers. So we do certainly have a way that we can fit your need. The last thing that we offer is a skate wheel conveyor that we have at the end. This will be the accumulation that you'll get.